conversations via the miracle of Skype. It's the LTN Hour. Let's talk NASCAR with your host, Todd Bailing, co-hosts Brian Schmidt, PJ Noodleman, and producer Dangerous Dan Margetta. Call the show anytime at 414-421-7901. And now, the creator and host of the fastest hour in radio, Todd Bailing.
Welcome to the program as we go to Darlington, the oldest track there is. Nice of you to join us. Todd Bailing in Phoenix, Arizona. My three Wisconsin partners standing by and ready to go. Brian Schmidt over in Utzberg, USA. Hey, bud.
Morning. We've reached April, and there were actually cars on the track in the area here yesterday up at Chilton. They had a practice, so we're so close to getting racing going around here. Can't wait.
Yeah, the asphalt gets going in less than a week. We'll be giving results from the Dells next week at this time. PJ Noodleman over on the other side of the state there.
Hey. Yeah, 40 degrees here in Trempealeau, and the hubby is probably going to be working on a truck that's going to be racing at the Dells.
Uh-huh. Dan Margetta, who is in St. Francis. I think you are anyway.
Yeah, good morning. And weather's fine here, too. And there have been cars at Slinger this week, and there'll be cars there today practicing and testing and ready to go. And I don't care what Chase Elliott says. I like Throwback Weekend at Darlington.
It's okay, I guess. I mean, yesterday Brandon Jones was supposedly in a car that was painted like Matt Kenseth's car from – it wasn't his championship car, was it, Dan? I don't think it was.
Oh, it was a 20, so it was probably like a Dollar General car.
Yeah, if you take the word Menards off and put the word Dollar General on there, then it looks like it.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I guess it's cool. When I saw the 4 car – painted up like Sterling Marlin, Ernie Irvin's 4 car. That was pretty cool. But these other ones, it's a stretch. What is that supposed to be? I don't even know. Whatever.
Yeah, there are some that if they put an effort into it, I think it's cool. That's why it's not mandatory. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But if you're going to do it, put a decent effort in. I mean, Chase Elliott has a bad one today. It's supposed to be Kenny Schrader's 25 car. It doesn't look anything like it.
No.
Another thing about this Throwback Weekend, I look at Kyle Larson's car. It's Terry Labonte's 2003 car. That's not vintage to me. I guess I'm feeling old.
Yeah, vintage. 22 years ago, Dan. I mean, think about it. It's crazy, isn't it?
I still think Throwback Weekend was best when it was during the Southern 500 because the Southern 500 is a throwback race.
Yeah.
And I know NASCAR, because there's not enough eyeballs on them about their playoff system, we can't have it during the playoff system. But I still think that was still the best. Trying to do it this weekend and force it down our throats now just doesn't feel like a Throwback Weekend racing at Darlington in April. Racing at Darlington on Labor Day, that's throwback.
Yeah, I think it's a way to get people to come to this spring race, though. There's 2 races at Darlington. You got the 500 is always, their staple one, and it's got the playoffs and everything, so to make this race kind of relevant, they made it Throwback Weekend. I think what they should do is if you want to do it and you have you should run the car number you have, so it should match your car number. And I don't care if we rerun them. Maybe put something in the purse that said, here's the throwback bonus. You win the race with the throwback scheme, you get an extra, I don't know how much money.
$100.
Yeah, 100,000 is the only way to get it.
There you go. Well, some people think it's really great. I don't know. If it had the number to match, it would make all the difference in the world. And there were a couple of them yesterday that looked pretty good. We'll be televised today on FS1. If you don't have cable or satellite, too bad for you. The green is at 2:12 Central Time today, afternoon race, and it's usually a good show at Darlington. That's a 1.3 mile track, 293 laps equals 400 miles. The segments will be at 90 and 185. William Byron is on the pole, 170.904 miles an hour, 28.774 to get around the place. It's usually a pretty good show. I have been to this event, the spring event. I've never been to the Southern 500, the one that has the romance attached to it. It's our oldest race and blah, 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 whatever. I liked the track, though, I have to say. Also, the last time I was there, the backstretch was now where I was sitting, and it's now the front stretch. So,
yeah, change it. I think you were there. You were there when Elliott ran out of gas, right?
The last turn of the last lap, and Earnhardt beat him. And it was one of, I believe, 4 straight for Earnhardt, which I think is the greatest streak he ever had. So, yeah, but it's a cool place to watch a race. And if you've never seen one it's in the middle of nowhere. There is a nice golf course across the street where they have pretty big events, but for the most part, it's Sand Hills country. That's where they grow tobacco down there.
I thought it's kind of got an old school feel to it because it's in the middle of nowhere. I've been to 2 spring races as well. I got a ride around that place with the petty driving experience thing. That was kind of cool too. I mean, to go around, you can see how it is kind of hard to drive, and that was just in a ride in a ride along car. I can't imagine going full speed in an actual car.
If you didn't scrape the wall, Dan, then you didn't get the right ride.
It was close. We didn't hit it, but it was close.
Very cool. So it'll be a fun race to watch today. Kind of a interesting race at Martinsville last week. Denny Hamlin wins it. Brian actually picked Denny Hamlin to win. You might as well take him all the time because he's going to win once or twice, maybe even more than that. Maybe even
still hard
today.
to believe it was 10 years since he last won there, though. That was mind-boggling to think. As good as he runs there all the time, usually.
Yeah, being a Virginia guy, it was Richmond that he got booed at his other home track, right? When he messed. When he had the audacity to mess with Chase Elliott.
And Brian, he gave us something to talk about. He pulled the flag out of the car and led the world.
Yeah. I guess somebody knows what that means.
Story this week is he got it from a race fan, and that's
there you go. But he does. Listen, nobody might like him very much, but he does some pretty cool things. He certainly has become a voice of the sport. He says. Between himself and Harvick, it's been pretty interesting to hear some of the things they say because, as we all know, anybody that does anything regarding NASCAR has to temper their enthusiasm, and they also have to watch their language when they are covering the sport. They can't trash NASCAR generally, but these guys aren't afraid to kind of pull their pants down, which is refreshing. I think that they can actually speak what's on their mind, and they've said something. Matter of fact, one of them was even suing NASCAR. Imagine that! We lived long enough to be around for that one. For those of you who were appalled by the racing at Martinsville, be aware that the ratings are up everywhere we go, it seems like. It was up 11%. And if you think there's going to be a lot of knee-jerk reaction from NASCAR to temper the way the guys race at certain tracks, especially that Xfinity race last week, there are more and more eyeballs on the sport. And apparently, fringe race fans, fringe race viewers think that's pretty great to watch all that shenanigans and running into each other and surprise winners and all the things that NASCAR liked in the past, but apparently is coming out now and saying, oh, we can't have guys driving like Sammy Smith. Oh, by the way, Sammy.
They have a drivers only, mandatory drivers meeting before the race yesterday. I mean, some guys that I saw online had to get up at 4 a.m. to drive there from Charlotte just to make this mandatory meeting. So they kind of sat him down and set him straight a little bit. I mean, you can have hard racing and slam bang racing, but you just can't be that obvious where you're just wrecking people. It's a fine line.
Don't be obvious. That's the thing, right? You can't be obvious.
Finesse. There is something about finesse.
Yeah, you got to be smooth about it. Sammy Smith was fined 25 points and $25,000. Doesn't sound like much because you're thinking of, wow, geez, for a Cup Series it's 100. Remember the difference in the purse here. NASCAR's got an $11 million purse, and the Xfinity Series a little over $1 million. So I don't know. You can't charge them the same for the same type of thing, and that's the way it works. Yeah. And did you not know that $11 million purse for NASCAR races these days? And yeah, the trucks aren't even at 1 million; they're like at 700,000. So it's kind of crazy. Hey, we're glad you're tuned in. Lots has been happening in NASCAR world this week, and we'll talk a little bit more about all that when we come back.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
Spring is in the air, and PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need, with fresh mulch arriving daily, from premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to Enviro mulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
Chimney Mechanics installs and services wood, natural gas, propane, pellet stoves, and chimneys. We service all of Wisconsin, the UP, and Northern Illinois. We repair all brands and all models of fireplaces, no matter where you bought it. We do custom chimney caps, liners, chimney fire repairs, water and stonework, water leak repairs, and replacement dampers. We do new construction and insurance work. No job is too big or too small. ChimneyMechanics.com. That's Chimney Mechanics with an X. Check us out on Facebook.
The Mark Belling podcast debuts on May 1st. No holds barred, freewheeling, and going after topics the mainstream media won't touch. Conservative? Yes. Intelligent? You betcha. Freewheeling? I don't know any other way. 35 years on the radio transitions to my first year in the brave new world of podcasting. The Mark Belling podcast on the iHeart app or wherever you get your podcast. May 1st. Talk to you then.
Speaking of podcasts, we have one ourselves, and it does rather well, actually. You hear it at iHeart, iTunes, all major platforms, and don't forget PJ's outstanding. Is it a video? What do we call it? It's not really a podcast.
It is. There's the audio version available out there, too. I just recorded as well for YouTube. So, yeah, it's Racing Nuggets. It's available everywhere you get your podcast. And I've got, I think, a friend of yours, John Close, going to be the next guest.
What a character he is. He was the PR guy at Slinger Speedway for, I believe, about 2 weeks. Yeah. A pretty great story, which I could get into later. But he told Wayne Erickson, "No, that's not how we do it, Wayne." That's the last time he had anything to do with Slinger Speedway. Wayne did things his own way. All right, there's lots of things that are going on. Geez, where do we start? First of all, it looks like the old Chastain is back. He went quite a while without pissing anybody off, but that's changed in a hurry. We started with Logano last week, just absolutely trashing Chastain, and then good old Ross goes, "Well, I don't even know what that's about." You know, that kind of innocent thing that he does. I like it. But when you get, Dan, what's the term you used?
I was talking about yesterday's Xfinity race with Christopher Bell. Somebody asked what happened to him. He got rossed. He kind of
rossed. That's beautiful. I like it. You got rossed. Yeah, Chase Elliott had his issues. Christopher Bell really had his issues yesterday. He came away with a fender rubbing on a tire after he got rossed. That's a good term. We're going to have to use that. If you don't, I think that's why I like Ross Chastain. He's just a little bit out of control and kind of fun. So, but he's not making any friends lately. That's for sure. Dan, there's some crazy things going on right now as far as the sale of charters. Now, I bring this up because you follow this a lot closer, I think, than the rest of us combined. Jimmy Johnson and his Legacy Motorsports company had a verbal agreement with Rick Ware Motorsports to purchase one of their charters. They went so far as to go through and initial all the pages on the contract, which to me, TFB, you didn't sign anything. You initialed a corner of the contract. So they had basically an agreement in principle to purchase one of Rick Ware's charters, and now all hell has broken loose because Rick Ware said, I never said I was going to sell them the charter, and now Johnson's going to take them to court?
Sounds like they filed some kind of an action against it with it, that there was an agreement there. They claim that Rick Ware Racing had financial problems or money issues, and now Rick Ware runs a 51 car. They have two charters. They have one for the 51, and they have one at the 60 car that RFK is leasing this year. The rule is you can lease a charter for a year. You can't lease it for more than that. At the end of the year, you have to buy that charter, or somebody else has to lease it. So I'm guessing that 60 car wants to be around for a while, so you would think that maybe they were thinking we're just going to buy this charter at the end of the year. I'm not sure how that was going to work, but that one's already out there. So the only one Rick Ware has is the 51. Which one was he supposedly agreeing to sell to Legacy Motorsports for the third car? Is it the 51? If it's that, well, then Rick Ware's not going to have any charters, because they also ran the 15 car last year. That charter went to the 60. They ran the 15 car, turned into the 01. Corey LaJoie had it at Daytona, and I think maybe
without a charter.
Without a charter. So that car shows up once in a while. So if Rick Ware gets rid of the 51, he's not going to have any charters. If it's the 60, I'm sure you're going to make people at Ford and RFK kind of upset, like, hey, I thought we had a shot at this. Maybe there's other teams out there that say, hey, we want to run a third car next year if you're looking for a charter, and maybe there's higher offers coming. I don't know why they suddenly supposedly backed out of this, but it's kind of a mess. Rick Ware claims that they didn't agree to anything. Legacy says we had it in place. You need that stuff in place now to get that in order for, next year to have sponsors and all that kind of stuff set up. And a lot of sponsors, as we found out in the 2311 lawsuit, aren't going to sign on the deal unless you have a charter.
Yeah, Dan, I don't know about you guys, but it seems to me there couldn't be an absolute worse time for this, because right now the whole charter system, as far as I'm concerned, is in question because of the lawsuit. And what are they actually going to be worth if, for one reason or another, NASCAR just decides to do away with the charter system? They're going to be worth zero is what they're going to be worth. And they could be worth upwards of $30 million otherwise. Now, you say, well, why would they do away with the charter system? Well, it has to do with out-of-court settlements and what is actually agreed on in the lawsuit. We got that to look forward to yet this summer, which, we need to have a lawyer on retainer, a guy who would be able to tell us, really what all this boils down to. Dan is the closest thing we have to a lawyer, so he's the one been filling us in on all this stuff. But I don't know. It seems like there could be a better time to be haggling over the price of one of these when we don't even know if they're going to continue. PJ, you had a pretty good point about the whole charter system. NASCAR, I don't think, likes where their charter system has gone for one big reason that you brought up.
They're not getting their cut off of those sales. Yeah, that's a big thing for them. They like to keep their pockets lined with everything that happens.
And getting sold for $30 million and NASCAR not getting a penny of it. They just they didn't sell those charters to get going, did they, Dan? That was just
nope. They were
created.
They were created, awarded to 36 teams that were there. And, the ones that weren't going to survive got out and sold them for a pretty good profit. And there's very few left. I think Rick Ware is probably the last one left that's been leasing charters left and right and kind of playing that shell game for years.
By the way, they all say that they don't make money. Hendrick says, I got 4 cars, all these employees, and I'm not making any money. So where in the hell does Rick Ware come into this? If he has one charter and finishes in the back every week, which is what he does, how does he continue if he's so cash strapped?
That's not his only line of business. Him and Dale Coyne Racing are together for IndyCar racing, and Rick Ware has a very successful NHRA team. I believe they won the Top Fuel Championship last year. So
maybe it's a write-off.
And I think he's got some involvement with IMSA as well. So he's got his fingers in all the different forms of motorsports across the country. And I think, to be honest, NASCAR is his least successful of them all. So somehow he must still think this is...
You got to have something for, as Todd said, for write-offs. You have to have a place to show some losses so you don't pay too many taxes.
And maybe they could do all right just finishing in the back. When those guys used to start in park, some of those guys made a pretty good amount of money just parking a car every week, remember?
Yeah, I'll never forget that conversation I had with my old friend Racing Jason Schuler. And if you'll remember, for a while there, a year or two, I think it was, he was a professional back marker in the old Busch series. He had a white car with no sponsor, number 73 on the door. And I saw him at a race one time, and I went up, and because, Jason was a competitive guy. Why are you happy to finish in the back and do this every week? And the magic words he said to me, I made $400,000 last year. How much did you make?
I'm a mailman!
We'll be back.
This Saturday at Dell's Raceway Park, the Electric 5 Super Late Models return for the 11th annual Icebreaker 100 presented by Wagner Automotive. The Midwest Best Super Late Model drivers going door to door in the first big event of the racing season. Plus the Midwest Truck Series and the NASCAR Regional 602 Late Models. Gates open at 11, qualifying 12:30, racing at 2. Get tickets online at DellsRacewayPark.com and save. Dell's Raceway Park, located 2 miles west of I-90-94 at exit 85, just off Highway 12. Dell's Raceway Park, Wisconsin's best racing entertainment. Rain date Sunday, April 13th.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com.
Miller Sales and Service of Random Lake is where to go for a trailer no matter what you're hauling. Tom and Jerry Miller have been selling trailers from B&B, Trophy, and Bravo for over 50 years. Quality and integrity is what put them on the map on the corner of 57 and K since 1939. Home of the number 89 dirt and asphalt cars of Brad Miller. That's Miller Sales and Service. It's where to go for a trailer just 20 minutes north of Milwaukee. Call them 920-994-4358.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit BonafideSafe.com.
Circle a shot off the mask. Rebound. Marino scores! The Admirals' 5-game road trip continues Sunday when they take on the first-place Texas Stars in Cedar Park. Sutton, left circle, Denisenko. Right shot and goal! Pre-game coverage at 4:30. Face-off at 5 p.m. on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
I heard that Bonafide commercial a second ago, and it made me think of Mike Egan. Did I see he's running for the championship at Slinger in a super late this year?
I'm not sure for the championship, but it's he'll be running some races in the super late and maybe even some late model races. It's like he's getting back behind the wheel, which is a Bonafide big deal, right?
It's a better day when Mike Egan shows up with a race car at Slinger Speedway, that's for sure. If you would like to participate in this program, it's not a hard thing to do. You'd probably need to have a telephone, 414-421-7901 to participate. Our old friend Greg in faraway Milwaukee waiting to talk to us. Greg, haven't heard your voice in a while. Good to hear you.
Good. Yeah, I've been feeling a little bit better. So, hey, I want to get your comments on a couple of things. First of all, I really enjoyed the Tony Stewart weekly presentations. I thought it was entertaining. It was something we could rely on every week. It was from small tracks, which was good. I also enjoyed the CW18 Infinity races, which is, you can really rely on them being on the air. But my question is this, have you comment. I've noticed that the crowds at the NASCAR tracks, whether it's Xfinity or NASCAR, are really, the fans just don't seem to be showing up. There's an awful lot of empty seats. So I wanted to know what your comments were about the attendance. Is that dropping? Is it holding its own? What's happening there? And then my final question is, do you have any word on Kurt Busch, how he's been doing? So I'll hang up, and I appreciate the show every week. Thank you.
Greg, thanks for calling. Attendance, interesting. It's for one reason or another, TV numbers are up across the board, but it's kind of hard to hide those empty stands. It's always great to be in the stands for a race because you just don't have to watch the couple of cars they're showing you on television. You can keep an eye on, first of all, who you want to keep an eye on, your favorite driver, if he's not running in the front 2 or 3. And plus, if you're listening, it's just a wonderful experience to sit in the stands and watch a race. But what happened? Do we know?
I was surprised to see as many empty seats as there was at Martinsville last week. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. And that place doesn't hold many. But we've heard that for a couple of years now from NASCAR that, their biggest thing is the TV attendance, and with the numbers up, or the TV viewership, not attendance, but the viewership on TV, and the fact that number is up, that's what they're happy with. I think the attendance at a track is kind of a secondary thing. And they said a couple of years ago that, we're going to take a look at tracks that have, larger numbers, and those are the ones we're going to stick with. Well, we know that was a lie, because right in our own backyard, we had one of the biggest attended races in 2021, and they didn't come back, 2 years later. So I don't know exactly what they're looking at for their numbers on that, and how they gauge what's a win and what's not as far as what tracks. I mean, Martinsville isn't going to go anywhere. We know that. The track's always going to be there, so it doesn't matter how full it gets. I don't know. We go to Bristol next week. Yeah, that place has like 120,000 seats. How many are going to be in it,
Right. Yeah, like where they're coming from, too. I think a big thing that kind of prevents people from going to races, as I've been to a couple of races, and we go as fans, right, Brian, and stuff. Yep. We know how it goes. Hotel prices are kind of way out of whack right now. And same with airline prices as well. I mean, the ticket to the race isn't bad. Every ticket I've had to races so far have been pretty reasonable. It's the cost of having to, get the airfare to go out there, and then the hotel, they want to charge you $300 a night or something like that for a race, and it's kind of crazy. Until that comes down, I'm not sure people are going to make the trip to do that, and that could be a big reason why some of these stands aren't completely full, because you're probably only drawing people in the area that don't have to, pay for a hotel and an air.
Right. I mean, we know, like this year for the Chicago Street Race, they're putting in half the grandstands that they had the last 2 years just because they didn't fill them up. That huge grandstand you saw where we were, Dan, on Michigan Avenue, that's going to be half the size for this coming year because they didn't fill it up. So is that making a difference for them? I don't know. They changed their prices for that particular race. They're going to allow more of a general admission ticket that's going to be much more reasonable this year to try to get more people in there. But you're not going to have a place to sit. Will that work? I don't know. It's probably the last time we're going to have that race. But, I mean, they do mix around things. Kids are free for Xfinity races and truck races. They're doing some things to do it. But like Dan said, I think that's the biggest thing. The being at the race is one thing. Everything else to get to the track and be there is the tough one, and NASCAR has no control over that.
Yeah, there you go. The other question that he had to do with Kurt Busch. I had to check back in my notes. He raced in Sydney, Australia for the first time in, I don't know, must have been a long time. I think it was his first ever competitive event since he had his eggs scrambled. March 7th and 8th. Did any of you hear how he did? There wasn't much about it that I saw.
No, I just thought he was out there racing. It was in like something of Champions or something called, right? Wasn't it called like a Race of Champions or something like that?
Yeah, that was it.
I think he works for 2311 still. I think he still has a role there in some aspect. I'm not sure exactly what it is, maybe a consultant or something like that, but I think he does do some work with the 2311 team, so he may not be at the track every week, but he's still involved that way.
I think he was there yesterday because Sam Mayer was running one of his throwback paint schemes to the Daytona 500, and that he won in 2017, was it? Or 18?
17,
yeah. So not much of a throwback, but I believe I saw him on camera yesterday. He was there before that race.
All right. We're very happy you're tuned in to LTN. We're going to take a break. This is the Darlington race, and we love when they go to these old school races. Fox Sports 1 has it. The green is at 212. And the weather's good. They're going to get it in. We'll be right back.
Miller Sales and Service of Random Lake is where to go for a trailer, no matter what you're hauling. Tom and Jerry Miller have been selling trailers from B&B, Trophy, and Bravo for over 50 years. Quality and integrity is what put them on the map on the corner of 57 and K since 1939. Home of the number 89 dirt and asphalt cars of Brad Miller. That's Miller Sales and Service. It's where to go for a trailer, just 20 minutes north of Milwaukee. Call them 920-994-4358.
Spring is in the air, and PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need, with fresh mulch arriving daily, from premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to Enviro mulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
Chimney Mechanics installs and services wood, natural gas, propane, pellet stoves, and chimneys. We service all of Wisconsin, the UP, and Northern Illinois. We repair all brands and all models of fireplaces, no matter where you bought it. We do custom chimney caps, liners, chimney fire repairs, water and stonework, water leak repairs, and replacement dampers. We do new construction and insurance work. No job is too big or too small. ChimneyMechanics.com. That's Chimney Mechanics with an X. Check us out on Facebook.
This Saturday at Dell's Raceway Park, the Electric 5 Super Late Models return for the 11th annual Icebreaker 100 presented by Wagner Automotive. The Midwest Best Super Late Model drivers going door to door in the first big event of the racing season. Plus the Midwest Truck Series and the NASCAR Regional 602 Late Models. Gates open at 11, qualifying 12:30, racing at 2. Get tickets online at DellsRacewayPark.com and save. Dell's Raceway Park, located 2 miles west of I-90-94 at exit 85, just off Highway 12. Dell's Raceway Park, Wisconsin's best racing entertainment. Rain date, Sunday, April 13th.
Every 30 seconds, another child is taken and falls victim to trafficking. They are stolen, exploited, and silenced. But we can all fight back. Join us on May 3rd at the Oconomowoc Lake Club for Off to the Races, a Kentucky Derby Gala, supported by Light Their Way. Your ticket, your donation, your voice can help rescue and protect these children. Stand up. Act now. Get your tickets at lighttheirway.com and help us race toward a future free from child trafficking. Because every child deserves freedom, but time is running out.
NASCAR's been busy. NASCAR president Steve Phelps is no longer the president of NASCAR. Wow, you think he got a promotion? How do you get a promotion from president? Well, you create a new position, and Steve Phelps is now the commissioner of NASCAR.
Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, commissioner. The red phone on his desk. So Steve O'Donnell, who we saw many, many times, you never really knew what his title was, Chief Operating Officer or something like that. He is now the president of NASCAR. And they're hiring over there. They're trying to find a guy. This is beautiful. The manager of YouTube strategy and planning. That's going to be a position in NASCAR. YouTube strategy. Hey, we're doing all right on our YouTube here. Maybe you could call us up and we'll give you some advice. Have a good guy like, Matt Losey to take care of things for you. Speaking of Steve Phelps, the new commissioner, he was talking a little bit about Fontana. I didn't see what the context was.
Somebody asked him about it.
That's what it was? Okay.
Yeah.
He finally came out and said what all the rumors have been for, a couple of years since they started selling parcels of land out, so they don't have very much. He said they're going to hit the pause button on Fontana because the investment was going to be $300 million to build this half-mile track that they had envisioned. Now, as you know, NASCAR loves California, and they've always believed that they need to race there, Southern California, Los Angeles-type market, see, Riverside, see Ontario. They've been at these places before, and it's always a NASCAR's attempt to stay relevant in Southern California. They want to, they need to. We've kicked around different possibilities, but this is pretty serious right now. They're going to have to come up with a plan unless they just abandon their own philosophy and say, we don't need to rate. We think we've outgrown Southern California. I don't think that's the case at all.
No, I think you need that because when advertisers come, if you're looking to sell sponsorship and stuff, the first thing people ask you, what markets are you in? Are you in New York, LA, or Chicago? Those are the top three. And if you're not in those, a lot of them don't want to deal with you.
Yeah,
there's not much left of that site. I mean, that was a 522-acre site, and they sold 433 acres of that site, and it's already being developed. There's a large warehouse literally sitting in turns 1 and 2 of that. I would say 2/3 of the grandstands are left, and the pit suites are left along with pit road. The rest of the site has been leveled off. So even if they were to build something there, I mean, how feasible is it to have a working facility there when you have all this other infrastructure around it?
Well, the warehouses and whatnot, let's just say they're going to not be working on weekends, and maybe the parking area will be able to be leased back to NASCAR because obviously they're going to need parking.
Yeah, those are usually 24/7 operations. I mean, Dan, remember the last year when we were at Chicago, the truck traffic to get in and out of there the day of the race because you have, the Amazon warehouses and the other furniture warehouses. I mean, you're trying to get into a race, and there's semi after semi after semi as well.
Wow, it's crazy. Well, their strategic planning department is kind of lax right here. They need to come up with something better. I don't know that he's just given us double talk, and it's just not going to get developed. It may not get developed. They did keep some of it, but they're going to. With their own philosophy, they need to stay there. So what are they going to do? Buy something somewhere else, some land, and then develop it?
That's expensive in California.
They made a play for Long Beach, remember, and they kind of got shut out by that. I mean, before they got it through, they were trying to get Long Beach from IndyCar, and then IndyCar kind of stepped in and said, nope, you're not taking this. And the owners kept it an IndyCar race. I mean, unless you can convince them to run another race a year through the streets there, I don't know where else you're going to go. I mean, because Irwindale's gone, right? And
Yep.
Right.
I mean, Bakersfield is a beautiful facility. I don't know the exact distance from L.A. to Bakersfield with Kevin Harvick owning that. The problem with NASCAR is they want to be able to be the people that own the facility. If you go to Kevin Harvick's place, well, Kevin Harvick owns it. Is that what they want? Are they going to go to some place that somebody else owns?
It is Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, that facility is designed for that. I mean, there's a small sort of grandstands there. You could put enough grandstands there to probably have 40,000 people around that place if you want, and it's a beautiful facility. But is it close enough to LA?
It's
for them?
About 45 minutes or an hour out, maybe.
That's not terrible.
It's probably more like an hour. I can't remember how long it took us to drive there.
Yeah, well, there's that too because Fontana is located right off of Interstate 10. And it's in a very accessible area. So there is a lot of good that, as far as location goes, did they really need the money that bad? Does that seem to be something that is a good idea to sell off the property that you plan or you're trying to make people believe that you're planning on building a racetrack? It just doesn't add up for some
Not
reason.
when they're doing silly things to just drop money left and right, like putting dirt down on a facility that is not dirt and building things like they did out in L.A.
Oh, see, Chicago race, yeah.
How much did that that was only like $1 million.
Only, yes.
Well, I say only because comparing it to this $300 million project to race permanently in Fontana, but you can get something back out of your investment.
Do you know what though? Go ahead.
Those 433 acres that they sold, they got $544 million for that.
Yeah.
That was their expendable income to run at the Coliseum and to Chicago and all that stuff. Yeah. So that money's probably gone. That's probably what happened. I mean, I think their original intention was to use that money to rebuild that place. But then when everything rose after they sold that and they had to use that money to do these other events, that fund is probably gone.
And maybe they're going to wait and see how everything lands as the market is in turmoil right now.
Yes.
Oh, God. Brian's, in fact, we have some results for you, and then there's a lot more going on. We'll be back.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
Spring is in the air, and PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need, with fresh mulch arriving daily, from premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to Enviro mulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
Celebrate 70 years of thrills at Road America this spring and summer. Experience unforgettable moments on our legendary 4-mile track. From the Spring Vintage Weekend, May 16th through the 18th, to the adrenaline-packed Moto America Superbikes and Vintage Moto Fest, May 30th through June 1st, there's excitement for everyone. Join us for the iconic IndyCar Expo Grand Prix presented by AMR, June 19th through the 22nd. Get more confidence on the roads with our motorcycle and driving schools, or tackle the off-road experience. Visit roadamerica.com for tickets and details.
For the latest Packers off-season news, inside information, and reaction, keep up with the only media outlet you can trust.
It's like being surrounded by all your friends you don't know who all love the same team.
The Packers flagship 97.3 The Game.
And now the LTN Hour presents Dirt on the Dirt with Brian Schmidt.
Well, for those of you that were paying attention to the weather this week, you see the weather raised holy havoc with the entire country, and that also raised havoc with the dirt racing schedule this week. The High Limit Series, all of their events postponed. They were supposed to race in Vado, New Mexico on Tuesday. They had 50-mile-an-hour winds. 50-mile-an-hour winds with a winged sprint car doesn't work so well. So that was canceled. Both World of Outlaw late models and sprint car events were canceled this week. And the IRA was supposed to open up in Iowa, and that was postponed as well because of the miserable weather this week. But they did race in Marshalltown, Iowa on Friday night, the 2025 IMCA Frostbusters. In the modifieds, it was Troy Morris, the third winning. The stock cars was Justin Leuenberg. They ran down in Talladega, Alabama at the Talladega Short Track for the Hunt to Front Super Dirt Late Model Series, $8,000 to win. The ageless wonder Dale McDowell grabbed Friday night's feature win with a last lap pass.
Boone,
Iowa. What's that?
Did you watch that race?
I saw a highlight of it.
Yeah, he set that guy up. I forgot who was leading that race, but he set him up in lap traffic pretty good, and to get that win in the last lap. You could see him set that up like 2 laps before. The old veteran kind of put the move on him.
Yes, he's with Scott Bloomquist gone. Dale is now the wily veteran of dirt late model racing, that's for sure. Last night, Boone, Iowa Frostbusters continued in the IMCA Modifieds. Dylan Thornton was your winner, and the stock cars was Kelly Shryock. Out in Paris, California, the USAC CRA Sprint Car Series was there. David Gasper grabbed his first ever non-wing sprint car feature win in the USAC division. Abbottstown, Pennsylvania, the Lincoln Speedway for the 410 sprint cars. Anthony Macri picked up the win there. And finally, in Talladega, Alabama, the second night of the Hunt to Front Series, $12,000 to win. Sam Seawright was your feature winner there. One other news note from the world of dirt track racing was announced this week. Jacob Allen, the driver of the 1A for Shark Racing in the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars, I believe he ran with High Limit last year. He all of a sudden said, I'm done. He's retired permanently from racing sprint cars. So the Shark Racing Group is going to be looking for, they plan on continuing to field that 1A car across the country. Too late to probably join a series and run for points, but they plan to put a replacement driver in there. So see who gets that seat. That's going to be a pretty good seat to be teammates with Logan Schuchart on the sprint car world. So it'll be interesting to see. That is everything for this week.
On to the asphalt side of things, Arca West was running at Tucson last night. The winner was Tanner Reef. The Smart Modified Tour at Orange County in North Carolina also ran, and Ryan Newman was the winner there. The ASA Stars was at Dominion Speedway. Cole Butcher was the winner. 12 of 21 cars completed all 250 laps. Derek Thorne and Jake Garcia rounded out the top 3. Notables were Caden Quapple, P6, Stephen Nassy, 7th, Ty Fredrickson, 8th, Austin Nason, 9th, Bubba Pollard, 14th, Derek Kraus, 18th, and Johnny Sauter, 19th. And then we're, 6 days away from the Dells firing things up, and 20 days away from Jefferson getting started on April 26th, and Slinger just a mere 21 days away from the opener there.
Amazing, isn't it?
One thing to add on that ARCA race, I know we like to rip on kids and how poorly a lot of these kids race across the country. I watched the end of that race last night, and that race is nothing but kids. That was probably the cleanest racing I have seen in the ARCA series in forever, probably. I mean, they ran 3 wide. They didn't touch. There were no ramming into the back of each other. I mean, this Tanner Reef, Eric Johnson, and this Jake Bowman, never really heard of any of them. And Kyle Keller, Trevor Huddleston was another one. I mean, there were 7 different guys that led that race. No slobber knocking or nothing, but just an outstanding race. For 13 cars, didn't think it was going to be much of a race. That was really, really good. So just got to say, as much as we rip on these kids for racing like knuckleheads all the time, they did not yesterday. And that should be an example of how racing should be.
You're saying there's hope for the future.
There's hope. If that group of kids that should be a model for how you should be racing on the short tracks, what we saw last night there.
Somebody got a hold of them. Somebody laid down the law there, don't you think?
I mean, it's none of the big teams, too. You don't have any of the Venturini teams. You don't have any of the Gibbs teams.
I was going to say,
these are smaller teams.
They fix their own cars, Todd. That
could be. And Bill McAnally, he's probably the biggest team there, and he probably said, don't wrek my stuff.
As far as the Dells,
he absolutely says that.
Yep. Sorry about that. There's 37 super late models entered, 33 Midwest truck competitors, and 28 602s. I didn't even know they had that many 602s. They must be building more of them.
It's a popular series.
It is. It's that 602 engine that the trucks and the 602s run. It's not expensive and makes racing affordable again. So interesting stuff. By the way, Cole Butcher, what with the fact that Ty doesn't race in short track events very consistently, I think he's kind of emerged as the number 1 guy in the country for these events.
I think you got to give Bubba a little bit of a grace period here right now, because he just sold all of his stuff, and now Bubba Pollard is teamed up with Van Dorn Racing, so he's going to be running that car the rest of the ASA Stars Tour. And I think Butch Van Dorn and Bubba Pollard just kind of need to get their poop in a group, and I don't think you're going to see I think you're going to see more of a challenge there. Plus, I think Derek Thorne kind of getting into his groove with his new team as well. He finished 2nd last night. I mean, I wouldn't write everybody off yet and put the crown on Cole Butcher's head just yet. I'm not saying he isn't talented. I'm just saying there's a lot of teams that are still.
May not be the guy. Like I think.
I think that there's going to be some more challenges as the season winds in.
Yeah, you're probably right. Listen, I like Bubba a lot, and I'd like to see him kind of retake his. Well, he never really did have the crown. I think back when he was running and winning as many races as he could, he was second to Ty. It's just that Ty's got other things to do these days, and we don't see him as often. But
I think a part of that too is that Bubba was going all over the country, and Ty has yet to go out to the East Coast for the I can't think of the name of the thing.
Oxford 250?
The Oxford 250. And Tobe and he were talking about trying to do that for a while, but whoever was in charge of the rules package out there threw a wrench into everything, and they would have had to have built a whole new car to be able to be copacetic with the rules. But they're not ruling that out. They're still looking at it.
Interesting. That's good.
They have a long break on that Stars National Tour now, too. They don't race again till May 22nd at Hickory. So see if these guys race other places in between time, and then you're gonna see if Cole Butcher just sits in the weeds for the next month and a half, or if he goes out and races.
Hey, I thought Spire Motorsports was so much money. They just had so much that they could keep adding and hiring in all these important people and doing all. I had no idea that they didn't even employ their own pit crew. They leased them from the 7 car. They leased them. I suppose they lease them across the board, but they all come from Hendrick, of all things. Well, Hendrick switched the crews this week Larson's crew is, I don't know if they're in limbo right now. Then they brought in the pit crew from the number 7 car, and that's going to be the new crew, believe it or not, for Kyle Larson. They must be really, really good, although I don't know why that 7 car wasn't running up front more often with how great they were. But, Dan, one thing I didn't realize when I told you about this before is that they had some members that were given a 4-week break and they needed a crew. So
that they used guys from the 7 car to cover that suspension, but now I think that's over. So they may have done a good enough job to just warrant the full Swift.
Yeah, come on back. We need you over here. Pretty cool. We'll be right back.
Celebrate 70 years of thrills at Road America this spring and summer. Experience unforgettable moments on our legendary 4-mile track. From the Spring Vintage Weekend, May 16th through the 18th, to the adrenaline-packed Moto America Superbikes and Vintage Moto Fest, May 30th through June 1st, there's excitement for everyone. Join us for the iconic IndyCar Expo Grand Prix presented by AMR, June 19th through the 22nd. Get more confidence on the roads with our motorcycle and driving schools, or tackle the off-road experience. Visit roadamerica.com for tickets and details.
Miller Sales and Service of Random Lake is where to go for a trailer, no matter what you're hauling. Tom and Jerry Miller have been selling trailers from B&B, Trophy, and Bravo for over 50 years. Quality and integrity is what put them on the map on the corner of 57 and K since 1939. Home of the number 89 dirt and asphalt cars of Brad Miller. That's Miller Sales and Service. It's where to go for a trailer, just 20 minutes north of Milwaukee. Call them 920-994-4358.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship-winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com.
This Saturday at Dell's Raceway Park, the Alive 5 Super Late Models return for the 11th annual Icebreaker 100 presented by Wagner Automotive. The Midwest Best Super Late Model drivers going door to door in the first big event of the racing season, plus the Midwest Truck Series and the NASCAR Regional 602 Late Models. Gates open at 11, qualifying 12:30, racing at 2. Get tickets online at DellsRacewayPark.com and save. Dell's Raceway Park, located 2 miles west of I-90-94 at exit 85, just off Highway 12. Dell's Raceway Park, Wisconsin's best racing entertainment. Rain date, Sunday, April 13th.
The Mark Belling podcast debuts on May 1st. No holds barred, freewheeling, and going after topics the mainstream media won't touch. Conservative? Yes. Intelligent? You betcha. Freewheeling? I don't know any other way. 35 years on the radio transitions to my first year in the brave new world of podcasting. The Mark Belling Podcast on the iHeart app or wherever you get your podcast. May 1st. Talk to you then.
And welcome back to the program. A lot of news this week with the tariffs that started up on the 2nd, and it came up what happens with NASCAR because they have parts that come in from overseas. I know that the wheels, these fancy wheels, BBS makes them. They're based in Germany. Now, I don't know. I believe they're made over there and shipped back to this country, which means they would be subject to a new tariff. Also, Sparco uniforms, they're all made in Italy to specifications and then shipped back to the U.S. Plus, brakes, digital dashboards, ECU, they're all made overseas. I'm not sure where those are coming from, but It's going to affect costs, which makes you think and makes you wonder about these single source providers. Maybe they should make them in the U.S., and then we wouldn't have to worry about this sort of thing, which is, I think, what the whole point was in the first place. So we'll have to keep a close eye on that. I don't really know much about Lamar Jackson, the quarterback of the Ravens. Yeah, I guess he's a good quarterback. I find out, and I didn't even realize he's number 8, and he's going to sue Junior because Junior wanted to get a patent on the number 8 that is the stylized 8 that he used when he first came into NASCAR. That style. It's the exact same style as the number 3 was, except it was just filled in.
Yeah, it was a lawsuit. It was in opposition to the trademark application, and they got the stylized 8 that Dale Jr. used. That was no opposition. He also put in the 8 they have on their Xfinity car, which was a little different, and that's the one that got opposed to, which apparently they're going to change and put it back to the stylized 8. I just want to know, can I get a Ravens 8 jersey custom made with Dale Jr.'s name on the back?
You'd have to wear a Ravens jersey, and you're too busy wearing your 49ers jersey, so you can't do that.
I don't think Junior's a fan of the Ravens either, right?
No, he's a Redskins guy.
Redskins fan, yes.
Yeah.
Or Commanders, they're called now.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I liked that when they were the football club or whatever the hell they called them. A couple other little notes. Our buddy Ed Kluka he was friends with Jay Fry. I don't know if the name rings a bell. He came in, I think he made friends with Jay when he ran the number 36 car. Kenny Schrader drove that car. It had M&Ms for a while, if you'll remember. Do we really know who the owner of that team was, Dan? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I have to go back and remember. That was an MB Motorsports, was that?
MB Motorsports. Bingo. I should have known you. Yeah, you're good at that. Well, Mike Kluka worked for that team, and I believe that's how Ed met Jay Fry. Jay Fry was then, after he left there, he was the president of IndyCar racing. Nice gig if you can get it, I guess. And now he's got a new job. He is now the president of Rahal Letterman Racing, just one team in IndyCars. But I see his name come up. I think of Ed. I went and I introduced myself to Jay Fry at a press conference they had out here in Phoenix. Oh yeah, Eddie! It was pretty cool. And now he's got some pretty impressive things in his resume. That's cool stuff. I did not know the name Cheddar Smith. Dan, you knew him because, first of all, he's from Wisconsin, and apparently that's where he comes up with the nickname Cheddar.
Right, yeah. He was with the 4 car when Kevin Harvick drove it for a long time under Rodney Chilton. He's the car chief there. And then he moved over to the 7 Spire car where Childress was now. And now it looks like he's going to be the car chief for the 54 car in Ty Gibbs. So they made a change there.
Yeah, so this is going to solve Ty Gibbs. He'll be the missing link, and now Ty Gibbs will suddenly get really good, and his things will turn around a little bit. Put a cheesehead in there. That'll help things out for you, no doubt. For those of you who have been following the career of this Zillish kid, first of all, I think he's extremely impressive myself, and I think he's going to be the hottest property in NASCAR. He's going to race the next time at Charlotte for the 600. So we will see him again in the Cup Series this year, and pretty impressive guy, that's for sure. Hey, here's that music. The Alt Blues. What's that, Dan?
Who's your pick, real quick?
Oh, I'll take the 8 car, Kyle Busch. Dan?
45, Tyler Reddick.
Okay, Brian?
19, Chase Briscoe.
Okay, PJ?
Ryan Blaney.
You just like Ryan Blaney. What can I say?
He's good.
Thanks for tuning in, and we want you to remember that real race cars have doors, even if they do climb in through the windows. Let's Talk NASCAR is produced and directed by Dangerous Dan Margetta. Our engineer is the esteemed Matt Losey, and for all of us involved with the program, We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you next week, everybody.
This program has come to you live from multiple locations via Skype. Any and all comments expressed on this show do not necessarily express the opinions of this station, its employees, or advertisers. Your comments are always welcome at mail@ltnradionetwork.com. Find us at facebook.com/LTN Radio Network. And thank you for your support since 1985. Tune in again next Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time for the LTN Hour on the LTN Radio Network.